Yeah, we on Boss Talk TV. Shout out to E. He the reason you see me.
News in Dallas, where rapper Yella Beezy has been arrested and accused of orchestrating the murder of another rapper in 2020.
Rapper Mo3 was gunned down on I-35E. Images of a gunman on the freeway were widely shared at the time. NBC5's Allie Spilliards joins us with more on the arrest. What do you know, Allie?
Brian and Brittany, on Tuesday, a grand jury indicted rapper Yella Beezy, otherwise known as Marquise Conway, with capital murder while remuneration in connection to the 2020 shooting death of Mo3. Today, Conway was booked into the Dallas County Jail. A grand jury reported Conway hired a man named Keywan White to kill Melvin Noble, also known as Mo3. Noble was killed in a brazen attack on I-35 near Marsalis Avenue on November 11, 2020. Police say Noble stopped on the freeway when a dark-colored vehicle approached him. They say that's when the man in the other vehicle got out of his car with a gun and began walking towards Noble's car. Noble then got out and ran away. Investigators say the armed man chased Noble and fired several shots, hitting him at least once. A second person in a nearby car was also struck but survived. Now, up until now, Keywan White and another man named Devin Brown had been indicted on a murder charge linked to that shooting. While police have said White is the suspected shooter, they said Brown was upset over a relationship. As for Yella Beezy's alleged involvement, police have not given a potential motive.
Wow, guys. Make sure you like, subscribe to the channel. We spoke a little bit earlier on it, but we wanted to talk about Yella Beezy. And, you know, this is his first night in jail on this case, on this murder for hire case. And OG, you there?
Yeah, right here, man.
And I wanted to talk about this because this is Yella Beezy's first really night in jail and facing this murder for hire charge, which is capital murder, and it can carry up to the death penalty, life into the death penalty. OG, what do you think? What do you take from all this?
Well, under this indictment, under this grand jury indictment, what they're saying that they got it pretty tight with the information and renewable for the promise of money, namely U.S. currency. The defendant, in pursuant to said agreement, Keywan White did and there intentionally, knowingly caused the death of said deceased by shooting deceased with a firearm, a deadly weapon. So they're chronologically putting this together that this murder was ordered by Marquise Conway. So anyway, let's go on. But it's a tough night for him. I mean, I understand this brother has never done any major time. And it's critical, your first night in jail facing, this ain't no traffic ticket. You ain't getting ready to do no weekends. And you got so much potential right now of people coming around you in those jails trying to get deals and taking any information. If you sit there with them, they'll get with the police and the police will concoct some stuff and give them this same testimony right here that they just indicted him with in the affidavit and some stuff on the police report, and have this man get on the stand as a confidential informant and say that he was your cellie and will say that you admitted to the murder.
Wow, so you saying, okay, so with him not being green to the fact you saying they can get so down and dirty with you that they can have somebody placed in there really with you just to try to get information from you in order to try to set you up to tell your side of the story. So the main thing is don't confide. And I hope he got somebody in his corner saying, look, man, this your first, look, don't confide in nobody. You don't know these people, but these people play a serious game in there when you're locked up.
Let me correct you here. Even if you know them people, if they're in jail, they would rather get out and have you go to jail for life than them spending some time in jail. Man, I done seen people tell on people just have a weed case 6 months in the county jail and give up a man on a murder.
Wow.
So your friends, they said, man, what happened? Man, what really happened? Oh, man, that nigga told on me. Man, and he said this, and I told him. Don't say nothing. Anything you say can and will be held against you in the court of law. Don't get on the phone talk. If his mother is hearing this, if his brothers and sisters, his relatives, don't get on the phone with him talking about nothing on that phone.
Wow. So yeah, these are steps a person who been locked up would know, but a person who really ain't really did faced a lot of time might not think about these things. You know, when you first get in there, you really, you really ain't you trying to figure out kind of like, okay, what is going on here? Man, what did my kids, man, all the stuff that you done been thinking, it just come to a head at that point. You know, you facing this time, you don't really know what the heck is going to happen. You in there, you can't get out. You thinking all the worst things. You let yourself down, and it's tough tonight. The first night in there is tough.
Him and Big Hugh going through the same thing. You on the West Coast, him in the South. They sitting up in there suffering. They never thought it would happen to them. But you gotta keep your mouth shut. We found out today on the Big Hugh case, it's 47 tapped conversations of him talking.
Wow.
On the phone. 47 conversations of stuff coming out of his mouth, not nobody else's. His mouth.
47, OG?
47 and counting.
Wow. And so
they had 47 conversations on him. They say allegedly implicating himself in organized crime and gang conspiracy. That's a life sentence right there.
That's a life sentence. And when you see these cases and people go, of course, the guy went before the grand jury, of course, but to just let's be real for a second. How long, there's no telling how long they've been recording conversations from Yella Beezy, from Big U, and all these different people. There's no telling how long. Both of these go back to 2020? Come on, man. 2020?
Didn't I just tell you one of your lawyers out of Texas told me this in 79? It's 2025. They ain't got worse, they got better.
In 2020, this here happened. These people man, I guarantee they've been had phones tapped. They've been had people snitching. They've been had all that. They just been writing it down. Everything they get, they just building the case.
And now they got it so the technology and IE is so good. Before, in 99, 98, you could fight a tape recording because the voices were grainy. Now it's so crystal clear, you know yourself when you hear it.
Wow.
I can't fake my voice. Everybody know my voice.
No, and OG, you like I said earlier about the kids, man. These are small children that are being left behind any way you look at it. And like I said, it's just tough to see the way that the public eye, views this situation. It's a thing where some people are. It's up between the two people that was with Mo3. They're pretty much saying, long live Mo3. And I got some news, man. The mother said justice for my son. Mo3's mother, the one who justice for my son. She basically did a post, and then you got others saying free Yella Beezy. It's just a lot going on right now in the city. Because the city been divided in this matter for a long time. Like I said, my biggest thing was, man, to show love on both sides, try to bridge the gaps. I'm right. I've interviewed Yella Beezy. I've interviewed Rainwater. I've interviewed both sides, Low Deezy. I've interviewed both sides of these camps, trying to figure out a way to be a bridge. Talk to Sean Cotton, about, when Mo3 was alive. Just trying to figure out ways to, keep. It's like band-aiding the situation to say, hey, man, this didn't happen. We can't bring him back, but we got to live in the same city. And you're trying to figure out a way to be a bridge instead of a wall to a group of people who've been hurt because they've taken losses on both sides. That's the whole game when you're dealing with media, that people don't understand is that, you know, a lot of people hate, oh, you didn't do it, you did this, you instigated you. No, I talked to both sides and tried to show love to both sides. But I understood that people were hurt in the situation too. So I didn't try to push or press on either side. But every time I would talk to either one, I just tried to show them love from Boss Talk 101. And that's kind of how I looked at it, because I didn't have a dog in the fight, as you always say. I didn't know either one of them before this took place. I wasn't even doing Boss Talk. I had a store that I've been had in the community for 20 years. Neither one of them really had just been over there shopping or nothing with me. So at the end of the day, when I started Boss Talk and I started talking to all the different people throughout the world, throughout the United States and other countries, I felt that liberty being in the city to talk to these guys and the ones that were left, and to be honest with you, to show love and try to show unity. And that's a part of who I am. And at the end of the day, I've been through a lot, so I'm able to address a lot. And I think a lot of times that's where I wanted to apply my pressure. And a lot of times I could tell that neither one wanted to deal with each other. And I get it, but I still try to play part on both sides to try to say, hey, man, we got to live in the same city. You know what I mean? Mm-hmm. So it wasn't really, like I said, for me, it was just an unfortunate situation where kids was left here. Mothers of children was left here. Mothers was left here. Other sides was hurt. And you're just trying to figure out a way to bridge the gap. But at the end of the day, and the day must end, you're not going to be able, the word of God say, and this is the truth, it says you reap what you sow, man. And you reap what you sow. And if you do something, if you plant a seed, there definitely is going to be a harvest. It might not be a good one. It might be a great one, but there will be a harvest, man. And the thing is, this is what we're dealing with. It's harvest time, meaning the stuff that's done in the dark comes to the light. Well, I don't know how Yella walks out of this, but I do know he's in a tough situation. First night in jail, and now, you know, with not having a bond, don't know what's about to happen to you, trying to deal with listening to people that you don't know if you could trust nobody. So I agree with you, OG. You gotta pull back up and say, hey man, I don't know what's going on. Just be quiet. Right now it's be quiet time, right?
Be quiet. You invoke your constitutional right. Remain silent, because everything you say can and will be held against you.
So you saying this boy then evidently then went back before the grand jury, and he's pretty much saying, hey man, Yella paid me?
Yeah, he paid. He promised to pay me. The only reason that this man is going back is going up in there, to my own little estimation, is that the deal didn't work out. He didn't give him the $100,000 or the $20,000. Once bro got locked up, they left him for dead. He wasn't taking care of him no more. He wasn't feeding him. And so that's the same thing that happened with Mickey, a big kingpin in New York in the 70s, and he ran on a $1 million bail. First time a black had ever bailed out on a $1 million bail, and he ran on him, and Jimmy Carter had him America's Most Wanted. And so when they end up busting him and giving him a life sentence, he left everything in his people's name. Left everything. He hooked him up with John Gotti, had the operation going on, and everybody, he was feeding all them dudes. And he took the life sentence. Instead of giving them the case, he took the case and didn't tell on nobody, didn't write on nobody. And then his number one lieutenant turned around and started having sex with his wife.
Wow.
And when he started having sex with his wife, he did it blatantly. And the dudes was, when he calling on me, they telling them, like, Mick, that, you know, dude riding around with your girl. Oh man, he like, no, man, they hugged up. They doing some things together. Mick tell him, well, man, look, check this out. Handle that. From the penitentiary, he told him to handle that.
Wow.
And now dude them is feeding them guys on the street. The king is dead. Long live the king. So Mick was gone. You understand me? So now once he was gone, they start abiding to the dudes that had the money. And shoot, he couldn't do nothing else. And by any means necessary. In gangster life, I'm gonna get you by any means. I'd have to lay in the bushes. If I'm gonna kill you, I'm gonna kill you. So the only way he found out when he sent dudes out to kill these dudes, they bought him off. I've been in that situation where you just buy somebody out. Well, man, they ain't gonna do nothing. What are they gonna do for you? So I know the situation. So he went to the federal attorneys and gave up his time, gave them what, a murder? I don't want nothing out of it. I just want them in jail.
Wow.
I want them to feel the same. And people call it snitching, but he got on, they defied loyalties. So when you defy loyalties, I'm not saying Yella Beezy did it, but you get out here and throwing up signs and this and that, and I'm sitting here in this jail with a life sentence, eating top ramen, not getting a visit, not getting no packages. You're not sending no girls up here to see me. One day I wake up and man, get me up out of here. Let me tell you what really happened.
Wow. So yeah, like I said, same thing. It happened with them the boys on the Dolph case. You hearing these stories about people saying different things, even with the Lil Durk case, even with the Young Thug case. Man, these people. Why I said these people are rolling over. And to be honest with you, I think there'll be more people to come out in this situation. I think there's going to be some more people taking stands. That was, like I said, I don't know if you were listening, that lady was talking. That was a guy that was hit with a guy, somebody out there, innocent bystander, got hit with a bullet that day as well. They're going to be taking the stands and stuff. If they try to pressure this thing, they got all kind of ways they can come and try to, prosecute this whole situation. So we gonna have to play it by ear, OG. I'm gonna be watching, and I know you will be as well. Thank you for calling in.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
Hey, man, get in the comments. Let us know, man. Yella Beezy's first night in jail, and he has not, like I said, definitely hadn't faced this type of crime and having to look it dead in the face with no bun, man. It's got to be tough, man. Long live Mo 3, man. Boss Talk 101 reviews.
Yeah, we on Boss Talk TV. Shout out to E. He the reason you see me.